the vast expanse of the European highways where the asphalt ribbon stretched endlessly under the moonlit sky, my boyfriend and I found ourselves at the mercy of fate. Hitchhiking through unfamiliar territories had been our adventure, but little did we know that the road ahead harbored a nightmare we could never have imagined. It was on our journey back home that we encountered him, a young truck driver seemingly ordinary in appearance. He pulled over, offering us a ride, and weary from our travels, we accepted with cautious gratitude. The truck's engine roared to life, and our journey took an ominous turn. As the night wore on, fatigue settled on my boyfriend, prompting him to rest on the bed in the back of the truck. The driver, a 25-year-old with an unremarkable facade, engaged me in conversation. At first, it was harmless banter, but as the wheels rolled on, an unsettling tension began to permeate the cabin. His compliments, once benign, took a sinister turn. He probed about my boyfriend, and the air grew thick with discomfort. Sensing the unease, I subtly suggested finding truck drivers from our home country for the final leg of our trip. Immediately, the driver's demeanor shifted, suspicion etched across his face. A brief stop at a gas station offered a glimmer of hope. Seizing the opportunity, my boyfriend ventured out to find alternative transportation, leaving me alone with the increasingly agitated driver. In those solitary moments, his advances became more than uncomfortable. They became downright menacing. Fear danced on the edges of my consciousness as he made unwelcome gestures, his intentions painfully evident. Panic gripped me, but I concealed my terror, resolved to escape this ordeal unscathed. The desperate need to exit this truck grew stronger with each passing mile. Luck, it seemed, favored the desperate. A large gas station for truck drivers materialized in the distance, and we convinced our driver to let us seek alternative rides. In a twist of fate, we stumbled upon a group of truck drivers from our home country. Beers in hand, laughter in the air. Two of them agreed to take use, and relief fluted through me. As we returned to the truck to retrieve our belongings, the driver, now accompanied by a friend, made a peculiar offer to my boyfriend. A shower at the gas station, expenses covered. The persistence was unsettling, and as we parted ways, their disappointed gazes lingered, leaving me with a chilling realization. I narrowly escaped a perilous situation. In the safety of our new transport, I spared my boyfriend the harrowing details. The incident remained locked in the recesses of my memory, a silent pact with myself to shield him from the darkness that unfolded during those tense hours on the highway. The advice that echoes from this chilling encounter resonates beyond that night. The road, though traveled by many, hides shadows that can morph into nightmares. Speak up, even when fear holds your tongue, and seek refuge in the company of those who share familiar ground. The highways may stretch endlessly, but vigilance is the compass that guides us through the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of an ordinary journey. The day began like any other in the small town nestled on the outskirts of eastern Sweden. The air was crisp, and the sunlight filtered through the dense forest, casting dappled shadows on the quiet streets. For Emily, a young mother, a routine trip to the garbage station near the dark edge of the forest would unravel into a chilling encounter that would haunt her for years. With her 4-year-old daughter in tow, Emily navigated the narrow streets toward the secluded garbage station. The scent of pine hung in the air as they approached the dumping ground, a quiet spot where the forest seemed to encroach, its secrets hidden beneath the dense canopy. As Emily unloaded the trash from the back of her car, a distant rumble signaled the arrival of a large truck. It lumbered into view, a behemoth casting a shadow over the garbage bins. The driver, a man obscured by the dim light, stepped out, and Emily's senses tingled with unease. His eyes shadowed beneath the brim of a worn-out cap, fixated on her and her daughter. A predatory glint danced in his gaze as he approached, his movements slow and deliberate. Instinctively, Emily instructed her daughter to hold on to the stroller tightly, a mother's protective intuition on high alert. As the man drew closer, his behavior became increasingly eerie. He muttered to himself in a language unknown to Emily, and the air seemed to thicken with an unspoken threat. The forest, a silent spectator, cast a watchful gaze on the unfolding scene. Fear surged through Emily as the man inched closer, his unsettling presence sending shivers down her spine. Without a word, she seized the stroller, guiding her daughter away from the garbage station. The man's eyes followed their every move, the predatory glint intensifying as they quickened their pace. As they retreated, Emily couldn't shake the feeling of being hunted. The man, now at a distance, stood motionless, his gaze locked onto them like a predator stalking its prey. Emily's breath caught as she realized the gravity of the situation. A potential danger had lurked in the shadows of the garbage station, and a quick escape was the only defense. Years passed, and the encounter faded into the recesses of Emily's memory. Life unfolded, and the small town continued its tranquil existence. It wasn't until a chilling revelation gripped the community that the specter of that fateful day returned with a vengeance. News broke of a notorious killer arrested in eastern Sweden, a man responsible for a string of heinous crimes that had terrorized the region for years. As Emily read the details, a cold chill crawled down her spine. The mugshot of the captured killer sent shockwaves through her, a face she recognized from that day at the garbage station. The man, now exposed as one of Sweden's most infamous predators, had narrowly escaped apprehension that day. The chance encounter with Emily and her daughter had been a momentary escape for him, a missed opportunity for justice to prevail. The realization struck with the force of a sledgehammer. The forest of fear had harbored a sinister secret, and the garbage station near its edge had been a hunting ground for a predator. The chance escape lingered in Emily's mind like a ghostly reminder of what might have transpired. The advice to the listener. Emily's quick thinking and protective instincts may have saved her and her daughter from a predator's clutches. In moments of unease, prioritize your safety and the safety of those around you. The world may hold hidden dangers, and being vigilant can be the key to avoiding a potential threat. The neon lights of the strip club flickered in the humid night, casting an otherworldly glow on the damp pavement. As I stepped into the dimly lit establishment, the bass-heavy music reverberated through the air, setting the stage for another night of gyrating bodies and dollar bills. My routine was well rehearsed. The sultry dance, the enticing glances, and the seductive allure. Little did I know that this night would mark the beginning of a chilling saga that would leave me haunted. It started innocently enough. A burly truck driver named Steve became a regular in the crowd. His eyes, glazed over and bloodshot, followed my every move. At first, I dismissed it as the gaze of just another intoxicated patron. But as the nights wore on, Steve's infatuation grew more disturbing. He began showing up every night, sitting in the same dimly lit corner, nursing a drink as if it were his lifeline. The unsettling part wasn't his presence, but the erratic serenades that accompanied it. His scratchy voice would break through the pulsating beats, singing warped love songs that sent shivers down my spine. The situation escalated when he started leaving bizarre gifts in the dressing room, wilted flowers, crumpled love notes, and once a weathered teddy bear with one eye missing. I voiced my concerns to the management, but without concrete evidence, they brushed it off as harmless infatuation. One night after my performance, I slipped out a side door, hoping to evade Steve's watchful eyes. The air outside was thick with tension, and the flickering streetlight added an eerie ambiance to the alley. I felt a chill down my spine as I heard the creaking of a door behind me. There he was, Steve, his hulking frame blocking the narrow path. The dim glow painted an ominous silhouette, and his eyes gleamed with a manic intensity. Panic surged through me, and I quickened my pace, the staccato of my heels echoing against the cold pavement. As I turned a corner, I ducked into a nearby store, hoping to lose him in the maze of aisles. The store clerk, sensing my distress, offered to call the police, but I hesitated, fearing that escalation might provoke Steve further. The decision weighed heavily on me as I slipped back into the alley, praying he had given up the pursuit. The night air hung heavy with suspense, but the alley remained eerily quiet. Just as I began to exhale a sigh of relief, a low growl echoed from the shadows. There he was, emerging like a predator from the darkness. Panic surged anew as I sprinted toward the safety of the strip club, the music now muffled by the thick walls. I burst through the entrance, gasping for breath, and begged the bouncer to bar Steve's entry. Despite my pleas, the bouncer hesitated. I felt a chill as I turned to see Steve's crazed eyes fixated on me through the glass door. The bouncer, sensing the impending danger, finally locked the door, leaving Steve seething on the other side. As the adrenaline slowly subsided, the realization hit me. Steve's obsession had reached a dangerous level. The sanctuary of the strip club, once my haven, now felt like a cage with an unpredictable threat lurking just beyond the walls. Days turned into nights of constant vigilance. Steve's presence lingered like a ghost, his absence only amplifying the fear of his potential return. The police were informed, but without concrete evidence of a crime, they could do little to ease my terror. One night, as I prepared to leave the strip club, I discovered a blood-stained note in my dressing room. It simply read, "You can't escape me." Panic set in as I realized the game had changed. Steve wasn't just a lovesick admirer, he was a predator, and I was his prey. In desperation, I reached out to a friend in the police force. They assured me they would investigate, but the waiting became excruciating. The fear that every shadow concealed Steve's lurking form consumed me. Finally, one night, as I exited the strip club, I saw the familiar silhouette in the distance. Panic seized me, but this time, a squad car pulled up alongside me. The police had been watching, and they swiftly apprehended Steve, his crazed eyes locked onto mine as they led him away. The advice to the listener: if someone's behavior makes you uncomfortable, don't dismiss it. Seek help and report any concerning incidents to the authorities. Your safety is paramount. And sometimes, the line between harmless infatuation and danger can blur. The shadows may hide more than you can see, and it's crucial to take every threat seriously.